I'm real excited about you guys getting this program. I know it's going to make a major difference in your business and the way you guys crank out proposals, and what yielded us an 80% close rate with clients from LegalZoom, Hitachi, AT&T, all these major clients. All right, step number one in creating a great proposal. It all starts with the cover letter. Most people actually leave this off or don't pay too much attention to it, but it's probably one of the most important things because this is actually going to encourage your clients to actually start to read through your proposal. Think about it. They're probably getting 10, 20 different proposals that they have to read through, and they're probably making a snap judgment right off the bat. It's just like a landing page. You have to entice them in order to look further or scroll down, and that's what you need to do here. So a lot of times what I always like to start off with is saying, hey, I understand your problem. I understand your requirements for this project, and I have a high quality solution for you. And that just starts to set up, okay, this guy's actually listening to me. Then I actually go into what our business actually focuses on. Is it interactive marketing? Is it technology? Is it creative services? Is it all three? What really separates us? And you want to keep it brief. And then I also start talking about and letting them know, if you have questions at any time, I am here. And if you have any feedback on the proposal, let us know. And you'd be surprised. A lot of people are saying, hey, I love that you wanted to hear questions from us, or they would provide us feedback in order to create this proposal. And a lot of the things that I'm going to show you was actually feedback because I asked this in the cover letter. So the cover letter is really, really important. And then lastly, on the cover letter, you really want to focus and let them know that you're here to be a partner. So you tell them, I look forward to being your partner. All right. Step number two is starting and really putting together a good cover page. It's different from the cover letter, as you can see. It basically gives you can put your client logo there or type it out. You put a date on it, and then you kind of put on your mantra or why you exist right there. And then also on the cover page, sometimes I would actually put strategic partner logos. So, for example, we were a Microsoft Gold partner, and if we were going after a client for Microsoft technology and we wanted to show that we were the right people for the job, we would actually put the Microsoft certified partner there, or the gold partner. All right, step number three is creating an executive summary. This is where you can get and let them know what they're going to be getting into in the proposal. In the cover letter, we just gave them a real quick snapshot of this is their problem and this is the quick solution. Now we're actually starting to say, what are we going to be focused on? And you can kind of see where I have the highlighted yellow in here. This is kind of part of a template. So as you see, we're building out this template, and I want to highlight the areas in here that I'm going to come back and I'm going to frequently change. And so if this was a proposal for social media, a website, and etc., I would list all those out there. And then at the very end of the executive summary, I would actually put in, this is how long I think the engagement will be. All right. The next step is identifying the critical factors to success, right? So this basically lets them know how you're going to work and how you're thinking. And you want to let them know in working with them, these are the things that I'm actually going to be going over with you, right? So I want to know your objective of this project. So then we can focus totally on that. How do we want to position you? How do you want your clients to engage? On usability, are people going to be coming to this website or a mobile app? Just so we can adjust that. Or accessibility, what tools are you using in order to drive people there? And just let them know that this is part of the questions, just so they can start to see your thinking. So you can say, I'm more of a consultant than just an order taker. Step number 5 is really starting to get into the meat and potatoes of the proposal, right? So this is where you're actually starting to list out all the services that you're doing. What I always would like to do is kind of categorize the major services together. So I would group all the creative services together. I would group all the technology as well as the marketing or social or however you see fit. So it basically breaks it up for the client so it's easy to understand. Then also you can also see one of the tips that we always use in order to create this proposal very quickly is we would always have this bracket and uppercase client. So then right when I open up the proposal, I could actually do a find and replace for this particular phrase and put in the client name, and that adds personalization to the proposal. So that was always a good hint. I would always be very descriptive on each of these. If you're talking about web design, talk about the methodology so they understand the process. Tell them, the different deliverables that's going to be involved. Tell them how you're actually going to go through this. So you can actually see under the web design services, we actually started going through the methodology. This is how we go through the strategy. This is how we go through the goals, the architecture. We understand the technology functionality. And then we also start talking about the strategy sessions that we're going to have. We had a unique proposition where we'd actually go through and do mind mapping with them, which would identify kind of the goals and the challenges for their company as well as the audience and really connect the dots. And it was a very unique thing. And possibly I might do a program on this later on if I have enough interest from you guys. So let me know. But moving on, then I actually go into kind of the strategy document, or what we call the mission plan. This is the document that we would actually go through with the client in order to get a better understanding of their goals, what they wanted, to understand their audience, their branding guidelines, all of this. So it was more than a creative brief. I know a lot of you guys use a creative brief. It all goes back to, and you guys have all had clients like this where they know what they want after they see it, but they can't tell you what they want. And so our mission plan strategy document that we created was basically an interpreter, really, to make sure that we're all on the same page. So this basically talks a little bit about that. All right. Then also on each phase, I would actually list out the deliverables of what the client could expect. So this really took the assumptions out. So literally on phase one, you could see one of the deliverables would be the website strategy, the mission plan, the goals and challenge mapping, as well as the wireframes. And then all that would be signed off and approved on. And then we would actually go on to phase two, the design. And then we would talk about the design process. How many hours would we put into there? What different concepts would we get to them, and so on? What deliverables per section, right? Then we would actually go into the website build, and we talk about how do we build. For this example, this website was going to be built on Sitefinity. It's a content management system you guys might be aware of, and we would talk about the process for there. It would also list out the deliverables per that phase. And then lastly, we would top it off with kind of the usability and the testing we would do, as well as the launch of the program. And then also go through the deliverables, just so they had a good understanding of what we were doing. Some of the things that people actually leave off on their proposals that actually benefit us greatly, and pay close attention to this, is list out the additional web services that they may have not asked for, but that could benefit them based on their requirements and their challenges and their goals that they have. So we would list out copywriting services, a multilingual site, a mobile version. But you'll be surprised how many people will be like, yeah, I want that. Can you add that to the proposal? And that's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario, they'll just say, no, I don't want it, and that's okay. All right, so it's already built into the proposal template, so we didn't spend any more time. And then lastly, on each particular major section, I would actually go through a time frame, and I would deliver it to them kind of in the phases. So you can see discovery phase, design, development, deploy, right? And then I would estimate out the time, just so they have a good snapshot of what was going on. All right, and then we would actually get into the technology section if there was. And then so we would talk about kind of the project discovery, the scope, how do we do that? We'd also put a timeline on there just so you can kind of see us building the proposal. We list out the e-commerce, if there was an e-commerce cart, the features, are we putting an SSL certificate? This is a section for the marketing. So then we'd start talking about the search engine marketing. How do we go about that? The Google page ranks, the number of pages indexed, the challenges that we would face, as well as give them kind of a current snapshot of where they're running by pulling some of the reports earlier. And then this is just some more of kind of our methodology, letting them know kind of this is what we actually go through on the SEO strategy that we would develop, right? So we would actually go into pay-per-click. And as you can see, I'm just listing out all these services. So basically what you're doing, just like you're listing everything out you have. So you have this, you may have this document that is well, let's say on the screen, 26 pages. But depending on the client's needs, you're going to be taking a lot of this stuff out. So if someone just wanted a website and hosting or a website and SEO, literally you're going to take everything else out. And then your proposal may be only 12 pages. But what you want to get away from is being able to have to type all this out every time. And a lot of you guys are doing that, or you're going to old proposals and kind of piecemealing it together. So this is starting to make that template for you guys. All right, so basically this is showing you listing all the services out. So let's get to the next. Oh, one of the things too I would do that would be beneficial to you guys, it's kind of a little off topic, but I would offer two kinds of support, right? So some people actually have a bad taste in their mouth from support retainers. So I would lead with that and say, look, if you need support after this proposal, we can do that. We can do a support retainer. So 100 hours, $13,000 a month. Some people are like, no, I don't want to guarantee that all the time. I said, no problem. We could do website maintenance on the very bottom here. And basically what this was is a block of hours that you're pre-selling to your clients. A shocker, most of the clients don't actually use this, but they actually prepay for it, and then they just have credit with you. So next step is the project summary, step number 6. And this was important because now you've just listed out a ton of services out there, and I took out a lot. But I also left in a lot just to show you how you can actually take things in and out. But on the project summary, this is actually one of the, I would probably say the third most important part of the proposal, because now you kind of told them everything that you're going to do. You told them you understand their challenges. Here's a solution. You presented the solution. You presented the process, the methodology. Now you just need to summarize it, make it very easy for them to understand. Be like, okay, all right. In the same way we categorize the website into creative, technology, and marketing, you're going to do this on the project summary. And then you're going to take it a step further, which I'll tell you in a second. But starting off at the top, I would go in creative. I say web design, 30 grand. And then I'd go into the technology. And also, if there was any more of the creative, I would actually add in there. So if I was doing banner, advertisement creation, or mobile app design, I would actually put that in there in that section so you can see how that's categorized. Then I would actually go into the technology, list all that out from the content management, the application scope, e-commerce, on-site training, whatever they needed, I would add that in there with the totals to the right. Go into the hosting, the marketing, as well as the web maintenance. And you can kind of see on this table right up here, this is all the one-time setup costs, right? So I categorize that. So then you actually get into the monthly charges. So this was important to separate because a lot of customers, you don't want them to do arithmetic and start adding and getting their calculators out. You want to do that all for them. You want to keep it very simple so they know that you have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, right? So I would actually separate the monthly charges out. And then let's say you have all these built out. If you wanted to take some in and out, you just highlight that column and delete that column. You don't want to leave anything in there that is not going to be on the project. All right, so just don't have a huge list there and then leave it on there, because then it's going to confuse the heck out of the clients. All right, then at the very end, I would talk about kind of payment schedule, right? So we always did a 50% upfront deposit. Halfway through, I would do when they would actually approve the concepts, or at a certain date, I would get them to pay the second payment and then final payment upon completion. All right, now the next page on step 7, it's really starting to tell them about your company. You're going to tell them about your experience, why you exist, the awards that you've gotten, and really start letting them know who you are. So you can kind of see we had a fun little title, Defenders of Truth, Justice, and Effective Marketing, and really start getting into it, letting them know who we are, because they're going to be working alongside with us. Then I would actually get into and list out the team members. And we had, crazy titles. So you guys may have crazy titles as well. But, we had strategic commander and mission controller, which was the project manager, VP of production, and graphic specialists were graphic designers or web designers. And basically listing out all the people so they can know, wow, and really separating you from others. Now, if you're a one-man or two-man shop or a very small team, you may not want to list this page, just because then it's going to show that you're a small team, unless they already know that. So I'll leave that up to discretion for you. But if you're a team of at least 10 people, I would list it out. And then also too, I would also let them know, depending on when they engage on the project, their team members may change, right? So you're not contracted to make them use. The next step is really putting in, and this is where the contract actually goes. So I actually took it out just because I'm not a lawyer. I can't give you advice. Um, but this is where you actually put in your contract and your terms, your conditions, your NDAs, all that good stuff. Basically just copy and paste it into there. And then you actually have where they can actually sign this document. A lot of people actually separate kind of like a master service agreement and the proposal, and then there's two documents. I always like to combine it into one. I believe in making things simple, so I always put that there. And then the last page is really client information. To kind of recap, you're creating this huge document that you can use, and this document's a living, breathing thing. So as you're fine-tuning it and you're finding out what works, you're going to add this to the proposal, as well as as you're adding new services, right? So as you add a new service that comes into our industry, you're going to be adding this in there.